WNST of sports radio this time last week, and I couldn't fit everybody in 1 week, so it's going to be a year-long celebration where I call some of my chums and bring them on, and no better time to call this guy, unabashedly my all-time favorite Raven. From time to time, we eat crabs or crab cakes together. I'm going to tell some stories about Costas on him, and I am going to, once again, for the 16th consecutive year now, implore him and plead with him to give me the videotape of our parade ride together during the 2001 Super Bowl 35 parade. He is in Boston. He has big family news. He still does some sports radio up there in Boston, even when the Patriots beat the Ravens as they did last week. We welcome our defending champion and world champion back. We welcome Mike Flynn, Flynn62. The man, the myth, the legend, the main event has joined us again, and not even an Orno. Dude, you've got an incredible family story that I think, unless you're Facebook friends with you or know you the way I do, I think it's one of the really cool stories that any friend of mine has to tell about their child. Do you want to tell it, or do you want me to tell it? Are you going to be the proud papa, or are you going to be the humble papa?
I could be the proud papa. I can't believe you've been doing this for 25 years.
25 years,
You don't look that old.
Well, I am that old. It's kind of sad, but it's true.
You cover it well. It must be all the makeup you wear.
Well, that's a good point. It used to be the hair, I had C.J. Mosley giving me trouble about bleaching my hair because there's a picture of me from, your era, from, 2004.
Oh, you were the hot tips. You used to bleach your tips, right?
Right, exactly. So C.J. Mosley, who now has crimson tide red dreads, little mini red dreads for Alabama, was giving me a hard time about what my hair used to look like. He said, "You're asking me why I have red in my hair. I pass a picture every day on the way to the weight room, and you have a lot of explaining to do." And you know what? He let me out. He said, "I guess that's just the way they wore their hair back then."
Some people did.
Some people did. Not you. You got a lot of silver going there. I mean, we had some crabs at Costas, and you had one of your many children. You have a whole tribe of Flynn's now. How many do you have now?
I have 4.
4. Okay, so you had one of them with you, taking him to, I believe it was the Ravens-Redskins game, right? So
we went to the Ravens-Redskins.
It's your fault we didn't play well that day. And you said to me,
I don't take blame for that.
Well, you said, we got a big story brewing in the family, and we don't want to talk about it till it actually happens. Well, this week it happened, and I've gotten to see it on video on your Facebook, and it's really an unbelievable story. So I'll let you pick it up.
Yeah, well, my oldest son is going to be starring as Charlie Bucket on Broadway in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
The Jakester, yep.
The Jakester, yeah. He's always been a music guy, an actor. I mean, he's good looking. He gets that from me, but the artist.
The weird part is he really does resemble you. I mean, he really does. I mean, I don't know him. I only know him.
Not. No, there's some resemblance, but I hope he doesn't look.
Well, I remember when he was in Mary's Belly, and who knew? I mean, does your wife sing and dance? I mean,
Well, she did out of college. She lived in New York for a while, and she was doing the whole waiting the tables, going to auditions, that type of stuff.
So she grew up in that environment. I didn't know that about her. Okay.
Yeah, well, she was an athlete.
She was an athlete as I knew her, yeah.
She did a little bit, acting in high school and all that kind of stuff on the side. So, yeah, but Jake always had a talent for it, so he kind of pursued his dream, and he's been doing it forever, whether it's singing or these shows, stuff like that.
So this isn't like he fell off a truck and just landed on Broadway. This is literally like when he was 5 years old, he was doing a little chorus thing in the church play or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like that.
And then you go to New York and the process of auditioning and trying out and everything, he's been up there quite a few times, but finally hit with this one. So he moves up there in February, and the show starts end of March.
Oh,
We're pretty excited.
Yeah, I bet you are. So just a little inside poker on it, your family has to uproot. I mean, obviously, there's some kid in Albuquerque that wants this part too, right? I mean, how many kids try out to be Charlie and Charlie? And by the way, I want to be there opening night or like that or like when you guys. I definitely want to come and do that because my wife's been beating me up about doing a Broadway show, and I don't know if you've heard, but tickets to Hamilton are kind of tough to get, So
Yeah.
this will be sort of, our first foray into doing a Broadway show together. No, not together. Not she and I together. She, we've been married, 13 years or whatever, and we go to New York to see, hockey games or Billy Joel or, other things. I just have never, with her, done it.
This would be a perfect reason now to go, well, not go up there. You go up there all the time, but to see a show.
I almost feel like Uncle Nestor in some way, with you guys together. I remember when you didn't have children, when you were footloose and fancy free. And,
that was fun, wasn't it?
Beer was involved. You haven't had a beer since probably the last time I was on the road trip doing the 30-30 up there at Fenway last year. But football-wise, we got to talk about this. It's Pittsburgh week. And by the way, next time I get you on, we will update, Jake's ride into Broadway because I want to make it a big stink. I think it's a cool story. But we do have a huge football game, right? So Christmas Day, Pittsburgh. I know you don't like the Patriots, although you're stuck watching them. You would have preferred that the Ravens win last Monday night. How do you feel about the Ravens? I mean, do you really feel like they can win a Super Bowl at this point?
I don't think they're a Super Bowl team right now. I mean, I saw them up here. I thought there would be a little bit better performance from the Patriots. I thought they were getting healthy. I thought the Patriots were going to struggle a little bit dealing with the loss of Gronkowski, their defense, who turns out now the last 4 or 5 weeks has been pretty good. But, when they're going into the Ravens game, they weren't playing particularly well. I thought there'd be a better showing because really, those couple special teams plays that the Ravens made because of fumbles, that's kind of what kept them in that game. Other than that, it should have been this score wasn't indicative of how bad they probably lost that game. So, offensively, I thought they would be a little bit better.
They felt outclassed in New England to some degree.
But now, listen, with that said, New England's a good football team. I think they're better than Pittsburgh. I think they're the class of the AFC. So losing to them, and you know how it is week to week in the NFL, how that happens. You kill Miami 1 week, lose, come back and win, and now you have Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh could be pretty good, but they're not in the class of the Patriots right now. So, this game this weekend, I think the Ravens have every opportunity to win that game, and it's a division game, and they've beat it before. But yeah, I think the Patriots, the Ravens right now, I don't know if for a Super Bowl team, watching them against the Patriots, because I know the Patriots are, and that's where they're going to have to go through. There's a lot of things they got to do. Obviously being a little bit more aggressive offensively, because they're going to play in the same way. They're going to drop back, and they're going to drop back 8 and force Joe to check down and that kind of stuff. So unless they can run the ball a lot better against that type of defense, they're going to be forced a lot of those checkdowns. They can't get the ball downfield.
Well, one thing we know about this version of the Ravens team this year is that they've been tested, right? They had to go see the Giants, who are now a good team. They had to go see the Cowboys, who are a good team. They had to go see the Patriots, who are a good team. They didn't meet any of those challenges on the road. The hardest part for me to buy into, and dude, you know me, I got a purple soul. I want to buy in. I want to believe they're going to be in Houston in 7 weeks because I know I'm going to be there for the 23rd year in a row broadcasting for the whole week, and it's a lot more fun the 2 weeks when they were there than it was the other way around. But they have to win 2 games in a row on the road here to legitimately win the division, have a home game, be on that sort of a pathway. They haven't won 1 road game since Jacksonville in September. They have struggled on the road. It's going to be a hellhole up there in Pittsburgh on Christmas Day. I find it very hard to believe. Do I think they can win this week? Yes. Do I think they can win next week? Yes. Do I think they can win 2 in a row on the road? I'm from Missouri on that because I haven't seen it yet. I know how difficult it is for any team, on paper to say we're going to go win 2 games in a row on the road in December against division rivals who are formidable, not like the Browns or some, 49ers or some Jets that we lost to, by the way. I just find it to be far-fetched, and I think if I'm dressing here in my Michelin Man outfit, my little Ralphie Christmas outfit on January 7th or 8th to go over there to watch them play Pittsburgh or Kansas City, whoever it would be, they will have played very, very well. They will have earned it. If they wind up playing at home and they win 2 in a row on the road, I will be very, very pleasantly, I don't want to say shocked, but more shocked than surprised. It would be a little shocking for them to win 2 games in a row on the road right now, I think.
Well, I mean, I think Pittsburgh is playing pretty well, and it's not the same team that the Baltimore beat at home a little while back. I mean, obviously the health of Roethlisberger is the biggest thing, but Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell got their legs under him. Le'Veon Bell had the suspension; he's coming back. He was dinged up, but they were missing offensive linemen. Defensively, they're getting healthy, so right now they're playing pretty good football, and offensively they're a handful to stop. And I think maybe besides the Patriots, I like them maybe making a run in the AFC because I do like the history, and they have guys in there that have won. They have a quarterback that has won a Super Bowl. Maybe you can go in New England and win that game. But yeah, if they win both games on the road, they've earned it. They would have earned it. And you're right. I agree with that.
We'll think about them a different way than we do right now. I mean, right now we have to think about them as, well, they weren't good enough in New England. They weren't good enough in Dallas. They weren't good enough in New York. But that doesn't mean they won't be good enough this week. But this is, as you used to say, nut cut time. You want to play in January. You better go win in Pittsburgh on Christmas Day. And if you lose in Pittsburgh on Christmas Day, you have now lost in Pittsburgh, New England, Dallas, and the Giants. And teams like that don't get to play in January. And that's the way it works.
And you're right. You win the games you're supposed to, and maybe you split. It's hard to win on the road, but you're right. If you mention those 4 games, you got to win one of them. Maybe 2. And if this is the one, then it works out. And everything up until this point is irrelevant because if you could sweep the last 2, you're going to be in the playoffs. And I think that's the mentality that you take. And then, how many games have you seen of Pittsburgh and Baltimore, and how many games have I played in that? When we have been bad, there are times, like I remember in 2002, we weren't going to the playoffs, almost beat them up in Pittsburgh. When we were Super Bowl bound, we lost to them 9-6 at home, and 2007 we beat them at home. So these games. As much as you want to look at how good one team or other, it's a unique history to itself. And certainly, going to Pittsburgh, it's a tough place to play, but, Baltimore is used to it. I mean, it is a road game, but they have a lot of familiarity up there, and I don't think that atmosphere and the lights aren't going to make those guys timid.
All right, man, so you showed up here as the big guy from Maine nobody had heard of, and took you a couple years to get on the field. You get on the field, you win a championship, you get a contract, life is good, you're a Raven forever, your family never missed a game, your mom and dad and all that stuff. When you got here, dude, there was no sense of Raven history. There was the Colt thing, and sort of the stigma of all that. We honored Lenny Moore out here last weekend, right? So the old Colts that are still here, still treasured. But there's now like your fraternity, right? There's your Super Bowl team. There's the next Super Bowl team. There's some guys that sort of meandered through your career and through that, the Sam Cooks and the Terrell Suggses and and the Ed Reeds and the Ray Lewis's and all that stuff. Being a Raven alum now, you had not done that experience where you brought one of your children down for a game. Give me a little vibe of what it's like to walk through the stadium in civilian clothes and a purple jersey and a ring on your finger, and sort of you're in your 40s. Job well done now, right? I mean, you look back, there is something about Ravens alums now, and I'm a part of that family. You know what I mean? When Kim Herring comes back, I run into Jared Johnson, I see Kim Herring. Many of you are on my Facebook, many of you are on my LinkedIn, something we could not have envisioned that our relationship would be like this 15 years later. And I'm sure it's the same thing with you and Spence and J.O. and a bunch of guys that you played with that, when they have babies, when things happen, when, Jake gets a gig in Charlie in the Chocolate Factory on Broadway, you're hearing from these people in your life. It's kind of a neat thing this time, right? Is it?
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, going down there was the first time, I did some media down there, did some of the pre and post game for a couple of years after before I moved back here, but actually going to a game as a fan, to go in the parking lot, do all that kind of stuff, especially with my son, it's one of the better times I've had. I look forward to do it next year, and the Ravens do a good job with the alumni. Reach out.
It's obvious. Every team does now. I see every stadium I'm in. There's some guy like you that played 15 years ago that's signing autographs for whatever team. I mean, I passed the table at the Giants game. I passed the table at the Redskins game. You know what I mean?
And then you have these stories. I mean, it's you think when your time is done that they forget about you. But Baltimore's a different town, and there are real sports towns that they remember you. And doing a couple things, whether it's signing a few autographs in the stadium, doing a couple things after they have the Ravens tailgate. Oh, I remember this. And, you have somebody that I remember meeting you when I was 10 or somebody's father. Like, we used to go to those games. We love those teams. And
everybody in this city drank a beer with your parents at one point. So,
well, yeah,
I mean, you know that, right? Like, literally, they come up to you and they're like, I met your parents. I mean, forget you. You played. Your parents are the cool ones.
Yeah, the experience was great. I mean, I can't wait to do it next year. But really, the atmosphere outside and the buzz for the games that, as a player, you feel the buzz in the stadium, but the build up to that out of the stadium. But it was, and to bring my son along and let him know, like, this is kind of what I did. And unfortunately, at the time, it was good for me. That I don't think I would have been able to be the player that I was if I had a lot of kids. But with that said, never had a chance for them to experience it. But have a chance to bring him and seeing pictures and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, being part of that organization, unlike before, you're right. In my first year was 97, so 96, 97, 98. It was really the history was the Baltimore Colts, which obviously didn't make a lot of sense because we weren't part of that, and ownership was different, and everything about it was different, and that's what you had. But now it's Baltimore. Now, after I'm removed 8 or 9 years, it's a couple Super Bowls, it's AFC championships, it's all pros, it's Hall of Famers. When you look at Baltimore, like, it's one of the better organizations in the NFL. And, I wouldn't say I started it, but I was kind of at the beginning and, have a nice chance to be part of that history. And, trust me, it's a hell of a lot better than being part of Detroit Lions history, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We got some rings down here, and we'll see. And when the Ravens and Pittsburgh get together on Christmas Day, and your family's celebrating your boy getting the lead role in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory on Broadway, you're going to look up, and there's going to be Heinz Field, and there's going to be Tomlin and Harbaugh and a couple of your ex-teammates and some buddies of yours running around out there trying to beat the Steelers on Christmas Day. So life is good, is it not, Mike Flynn?
I mean, I can't wait. The Christmas Day slate, that game, I will have a cooler of beers in my living room.
I have no doubt about that.
I know are you going to the game? Or
I am going to Pittsburgh.
I knew you would, and that's fine. Yeah, I'm going to have a nice cooler of beers, a big screen TV. My father's coming to town. And trust me, there are a lot of things I enjoy in life. And being a sports fan, right, like, you want to cheer for your team, and that's fun. But I've always taken pleasure in teams that I do not like lose, which I may enjoy a little bit more. And certainly Pittsburgh losing, and something I can never shake. I don't know what it is. I guess it's all the tough loss we had against them. But watching them lose always makes me happy. So I hope I get a little Christmas gift here early.
Yeah, I've already told Mike Tomlin I plan on curdling his eggnog. I plan on being the little purple elf Grinch that climbs down through the chimney and, brings dark flowers. And, I'm down for all of that. So, hey, man, Merry Christmas to you. It's always good to catch up with you, man. He is Flynn, 98.5. So I'll leave you with this quote. Are you ready? If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to, do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. So good luck.
So poetic, buddy.
Good luck to your boy, man. Hey,
Thanks, man.
Let me know opening night. Seriously, we're coming to New York. We want to be a part of it.
Thanks, buddy.
Start spreading the news. Mike Flynn's boy is headed to Broadway, and the Ravens are headed to Pittsburgh. You can follow Mike Flynn's journey at 98.5, Flynn 985, and at 98.5 up there in Boston. He does sports radio up there yelling about the Patriots and his Red Sox and his Bruins and his Celtics. At least he's not on the Boston College thing to beat the Terps on Monday. You can find me out in the Bayou Toyota Audio Vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn radio app. We do come in crystal clear from anywhere in the world. Nasty at WNST.net reaches me. The London trip is now on sale for the fall. We'd love to have you on that. Hell, I want to take Mike Flynn's parents to London with me for a Ravens game. That's what I want to do. We got room for you. All the details are up there. You can throw us an email. Makes a perfect Christmas gift. But wait, there's more. Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, streaming live on our Facebook Live as well as our YouTube WNSTV channel. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.